The house looks just like the one next to it. And the one next to that. And the one next to that. A young couple live in it. Give Ken a kiss. With their 3 children. And something more. Something's funny.
In the background.
No.
Detachment.
Oh no, it's already started, dude. It's
In
already
the forefront. What started? Oh no! That was supposed to be me. You're supposed to tell me.
Wow.
I was the first.
And I will be the last.
Today we are going over some Drukhari. I am super excited about the new detachment. I know we talked about it the other day. We didn't really get too far into it, but I have since built a little list. And I think you built a list, but not in the new detachment. I think you went with the one you thought would be the best, right?
Yes, I thought that getting a ton of pain tokens sounded really cool, but I'd like to see what you have to say about that. Because I don't know if it is actually good because no one's doing it, so it's probably not good, but
Jim,
you know.
Jim has a question for you that you need to read because I'm not saying that out loud.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad we can get past that. All right.
Yeah, it's actually coming to his house pretty soon. I'm glad we're moving on.
Anyway, so hey, Dice, what's going on? Kids these days and their Warhammer. Uh-oh.
Oh, we hammering the war.
Back in my day, kids played outside with real hammers, damn it. Very true, very true.
A warhammer's a real hammer. It's real.
Yeah, I mean, it's not real. It's a thing.
All my friends are real. None of them were imaginary. Not a single one.
I just get the Key and Peele episode where he's ordering pizza. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that.
All of his action figures, he's ordering pizza for all of them.
Oh gosh, what was the chick's name?
Oh,
It's like she sounds like a really nice lady. I would really like to talk to her.
Yeah.
Got hit by a truck. Just hangs up. Calls back like 2 seconds later. I'm like,
yeah.
that was a really good skit. Key and Peele's like, not to get too off topic, but Key and Peele is like either like really hit or really miss. Like their humor is like when you relate to it, it's so good. Like it's so well done.
Yeah. Dude, classics. I mean, obviously the classroom one that's way overdone. You know, everybody knows the Aaron and Balake.
I would say my favorite one is when they're doing the 80s style fitness.
Oh yeah,
And
dude,
like
I
they're
have
pulling
it.
up the cards. That is so good. Yeah, I know. It's so good.
I have that as a freaking what's it
Oh, do
called?
you have it as a redeemable?
It was no, I don't have it as a redeemable yet. I'm in the process of doing
Oh,
it.
dude. I was about to pull that up right now.
Yeah, I've got
You
to
are a
edit.
missed opportunity.
I got to edit the video. I was actually going to do it if somebody subscribes. That was going to play. Not that one. It was going to
Uh,
be not the one that they did, but the real one. You know, like the
yeah,
old
the
one.
real one's just as good.
Yeah,
If for anybody watching that hasn't seen it, it's the Crystal Light aerobic fitness championships on YouTube. And that music, and it just plays it on loop. We are the champions, the champions.
Dice said, well, Jordan Peele went on to make several successful horror films, and Keegan-Michael Key went on to show up in some stuff. Still think his best solo work was in the last Predator movie. Yeah, yeah, Michael Key kind of just shows up in movies. That's absolutely right. He doesn't really do much. Take a shot for every time Kyle spits. Am I
Oh,
spitting?
I'd be at like 6.
Oh, spitting in the. Yeah, I got you.
Uh, one thing since we're on topic, but favorite Jordan Peele film, go.
His favorite film, or my favorite film that he's done. I honestly,
Yes.
man, I hate to say it, but I'm not a huge fan of his horror stuff.
You didn't like Us?
I mean, it was good. It was
Us
good.
was by far my favorite. Nobody's done Doppelgangers justice quite like that movie, and that's why I liked it, because there's no real good doppelganger horror movie since The Thing, essentially. Like
So
that was the best one since. Obviously, The Thing takes it, but
yeah,
Us was really
okay.
good.
Let's be real careful how we're talking about The Thing and comparing it to the movie Us, because The Thing is the greatest scary movie of all time.
That's why I said one of the best ones since, like the best to do it since. Obviously, you can't compare to that.
George,
You know,
that is the one with oh my God, I can't think of his name right
it's
now.
called Get
Kurt
Out.
Russell.
Get Out. No,
No,
not
no,
Get
no.
Out.
Kurt, hold on, slow down. Kurt. Oh, George is not talking about The Thing. He's talking about
Nope.
man. Yeah,
Nope.
My brain
Yeah.
kept going to like, oh hell no, or something like that. I couldn't
Yeah.
I couldn't
Nope.
think of it. Yeah. Anyway, oh shit. I just moved my whole desk. So, and actually, real quick to go off on that tangent, I was just talking to my brother-in-law about I was showing him the Creep tapes, and
Oh, what'd he say?
I was like, well, he was laughing through it. I mean, it is definitely comedy for sure, but it's like that character, you know how like they have the shirts with the classic bad guy, you know, like the scary characters and stuff like that. He needs to become a part of that at some point, man. You know, like that
Yeah.
character is super underappreciated. And by the way, Dice, I don't remember if you've seen this or not. I know you're a horror fan, but if you like that type of stuff and you haven't checked out Creep, please check out Creep. I know we've talked about it before. I can't remember if you said you watched it or not. Yeah, Nope was decent. I don't know.
I liked it.
It was fun. It was
I think
fun. It wasn't scary though at all.
Get Out was their like the breakout film, and I don't think it's as good as Us and Nope. I thought both of those were like Nope did the cosmic horror like really well, like a saucer that's actually an animal, like a sentient being. Like that's pretty unique and very creative. I liked it a lot.
Dice said, can confirm Texas size 10-4. I have seen Creep. Yeah,
Yeah, so good.
So good. But
Did
anyway,
you watch the newest episode? Wait. One last question. I have to know.
I watched some of it. I didn't get to finish it because we needed to get ready for this because we were already running late. So I was like, well, I'll have to watch that later.
That may have been my fault.
Totally your fault. 100%.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit my fault.
But without further ado, we are going over the new Drukhari detachment, which again I am super stoked about. Dice, if you were into Warhammer, I could tell you right now that you would definitely be a Drukhari player because I think that you and I have similar taste, and you would love the Drukhari. John, I know that you were looking up some of the Drukhari lore. Is there anything you wanted to cover that would besides
I was.
besides
Oh.
your Rule 34 Lilith nonsense that you're obsessed with?
That's actually the focus of what I would like to cover. So
Lilith. All right, so
yeah.
I'm gonna let you do that. I have to go run and grab my water because I left it downstairs. So I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Oh, I'll do that thing. So Lilith, in your mind, think about the most ultimate dom mommy that you can think of, and that's this chick. She's a succubus, which is the ruling. In Drukhari, they have like different like cults, um, and she's a part of the witch cult of strife, and she is in the witches are known for like their beauty and the femme fatale, stereotype, and among them, she is the one that everyone's jealous about, which she has this crazy combat prowess. She beats everybody she fights. She's like a unparalleled duelist, like the classic writing uh, tropes that you would see. Oh yeah, she's that would 100% be my wife because she would totally fall for me and my charming good looks. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. No, I was talking about she's a succubus, which the succubuses are the like ruling classes of the witches, like they're like the high society, and they're all of them are known for their like beauty and prowess in battle. But like even then, like she's the one everyone's jealous of.
Yeah, did you talk
Which
about
how
her?
much of?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go and ask.
I was just gonna ask if you had mentioned her hair and how she uses her hair in
Oh,
battle.
not yet. I'm about to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
She is so in the lore. She's like said if you give her a sharp piece of metal, she'll be able to kill with it. She uses two daggers for fighting and just unmatched. But they think that if you give her anything, she'll be able to fight. It's actually funny because the scourges, which are the flying Drukhari, have like rumors about her that like as a kid she was like fed like as a baby she would suck on steroids, and they think that maybe like the racks, which are like these abomination type monstrosities, if you don't know 40K, like replaced her blood with adrenaline blood, like a synthetic, better blood, I guess. It's kind of hard to explain. It's the future.
Yeah.
Sounds like it makes sense.
Yeah, what's the future? Yeah, they
Yeah,
used
it's
to.
the
Well,
future.
and one of the things that they took away from the Drukhari that I think they were kind of talking slightly about was combat drugs for all the witch cults and everything. It was like ritualistic for them, probably still in the lore, but it doesn't reflect in the game anymore because Games Workshop is lame. But and they keep removing all of the fluff out of the Drukhari Codex, which I just don't understand.
Yeah, well, the technically they still do have combat drugs. I say that, but it's probably not nearly as cool as it was, in earlier editions. But the current witch has combat drugs, and they get fights first. Uh, like you have to do some. I could pull that up real quick.
Well, it's been so long since I've looked at the succubus, to be honest, because she's just not
Yeah,
worth it to me.
inferior is a fair word. So the succubus has for their abilities combat drugs. If this model is empowered, they get fight first.
Yeah,
Fight
so
phase.
not what it used to be at all. It combat drugs used to be able to they had so all right, the Grey Knights got their new detachment rule is basically what combat drugs used to be. I think it's like almost verbatim the same thing. And they like the witch the entire witch cult got each unit was able to basically have some sort of whatever combat drug you either rolled on or chose to, however you wanted to play it. But yeah, they got rid of that, and that's when I saw the Grey Knights detachment update. I'm like, oh my god, why did they take this away from us? I completely forgot that they even had it before. It drives me crazy.
No, I like the the fluffier stuff. Funny enough though, in the lore, like in the codexes, it says specifically that Lilith does not use combat drugs.
Yeah.
Because she sees it as like a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
Which, how badass, you know? He's like fighting to the death, and she's like, I don't need a handicap, you know. Like,
yeah, I think it talks.
I'm gonna kill you.
It talks about her like she doesn't like her mind being, you know, it like takes her out of the fight and she wants to be in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Could you pull up an image of her actually?
Like,
I mean, I would definitely be careful about how you go about that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, not gonna do that. All right, just imagine a total knockout that would totally be my girlfriend, and then you're like already there. You know what I mean?
Hold on, I'll look it up. I'm not surprised.
While you do that, I can talk.
Great. It said Grey Knights are a creation of Bile. I thought it was Grey Knights, but I could have. I've been looking them over so quickly that I may have screwed it up. Lilith Hesperax. I think I've actually pulled this up before, and there isn't like a lot of good. Honestly, a surprising amount. Like not enough lore, or you know, like what you'd think the art would be.
Dude, I just got roasted. Only Seek Your Dice said I'm picturing Kevin from The Office. Ban him! Jim, get that guy out of here! we don't do that here. No, she's a total knockout though.
Yeah, she's
not totally fangirling over a 40K fictional character or anything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when they do the cosplay is, oh, that's a video. Not playing that.
Do not.
I have no clue what that is.
Not.
Vicious, what's up?
Vicious.
Yeah,
you're already behind. Jim's already winning. He's winning the war.
She is a foxy little minx, though. Look at that.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
Moving on. So
to talk about the
detachment.
No, I was going to go more into detail about her, but if we want to go into the detachment, that's
just insert whenever you see fit. But I am kind of excited to talk about this one here. So I do want to hear it. Fuck it. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Okay. I'll only hit the part that you already brought up. So not only is she a super good duelist, but she has long hair, and in her hair she has these I want to say like hooks. What was the exact term that you gave them?
Shard nets and yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Actually, I think it's whatever. Yeah, keep going.
Essentially, she can not only does she have two daggers, but her hair is a weapon, and she can catch blades with her hair and disarm opponents. Which is like, how long do you have to live before you unlock that? You know?
Yeah, I mean that just sounds like a nightmare to me, to be honest. Like
yeah.
I've never had long hair. Could you picture trying to maintain? Like I watch my wife, you know, she has like all these different products and shit for her hair. Like I couldn't picture if you were trying to utilize that as a weapon. What's up, Dad and Jax? Good to see you. Does George still drink? Yeah, George drinks on occasion. He's never been much of a heavy drinker. I'm not about to start doing hair exercises off of the chance that someone tries to sneak up on me. Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Well, imagine trying to learn how to use that, though. Swing your hair around, and then it accidentally catches, you know, like in between your legs, and you're like, oh, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
You know, like training to use that is more dangerous than using it.
It's not even really feasible, to be honest. Like, it's really not when you think about it. You know, like, what if you're in a fight? I mean, I guess it goes to show how good she is. But, like, you know, that shit gets caught on something when you're going for an attack and all of a sudden you just, like, do the old clothesline yourself, you know, where it looks like you clothesline yourself by your hair getting caught on something.
You're just, like, spinning your hair out. It's like a Kung Pao. Spinning the chain. Spinning Spin it around.
Oh, such a great movie. Is that why Willow Smith whips her hair back and forth? I whip my hair back and forth. Oh, that's such a great dude.
What a classic.
That is so perfect for Lilith. That's hilarious. But anyway, without further ado, I am foaming at the mouth to get to this because I am excited. At the start of the battle, Drukhari units from your army are winning the wager. So, a quick little background on the army itself. So, which unfortunately, Drukhari and Eldar lore kind of make up the entire 40k lore because, they kind of birthed a god because of what Drukhari does. But Drukhari are a faction of space elves, basically, that are extremely sadistic, and what the way that they operate and live is they live off the anguish of others. So they're basically energy vampires, like in a nutshell, is essentially what they are. So like you'll see if you were to see a Drukhari member looking kind of old and shriveled, all they would do is basically go up, witness some sort of atrocity and anguish in something else, and it would instantly revitalize them where they look young again. So that's kind of how they operate. So essentially, if you were to get caught by Drukhari, they would keep you alive well beyond your years. So like a human like us, they would keep that motherfucker alive for thousands of years just to squeeze every ounce of anguish that they could out of their victim. So what they do is they go on these, they call them real space raids, where they leave their city of Kamora, which is a city that lives inside of the webway, and they go pillage and they go raid people randomly, and they steal slaves, essentially, is what they're doing. And those slaves they bring back and they just torture them so that, I mean, it's like life juice for them. So that's what they're doing. Kyle, you're supposed to explain why they're called Eldari and Eldar. I'm assuming that there was some rights shit with GW. I don't know why they changed it from Eldar to Eldari, to be honest. Unless they were...
Same thing with Imperial Guard had to get changed to Astra Militarum.
Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know if it's that they were expanding the factions and they were like, okay, we have Ynnari, Eldar, Drukhari, what's it called? The Harlequins, and maybe we just need to have a name that encompasses all of them together. Hey Kyle, the George doppelganger is sneaking up behind you, and he's brought all the white space he can generate.
That is one good-looking man. You could take a lesson from your brother.
Yeah, with that goofy ass smile, I love it.
Dude, with the thumb up, I need one in my room. Honestly, I'm gonna need you to get on that. Get on that thing.
Yeah, no, I'm good. We're gonna.
What? George? All right, you heard it here first. I'm being denied by George.
I'd have a little. Oh, you want a George one?
Yeah, I want a George one in my room.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we might be able to make that happen.
Yeah, we need George in all of our rooms. So he's like constantly with us, looking over our shoulders.
What would George do?
Yeah, what would George do?
So that being said, that's Drukhari. They also are cool. They're not so cool with Eldar. They will fight with Eldar if they need to, but they're really good with the Harlequins. Harlequins are kind of, they're good with the Eldar and the Drukhari and the Ynnari. Like they don't care who they're with. They're there to protect the Black Library, which the Black Library is essentially a culmination of all of the universe's secrets locked in one book, essentially. And their job, the Harlequin's job, is to stop anybody from getting to the Black Library, because if anybody but the Eldar were to get a hold of that stuff, it would be terrible for the rest of the universe. So that's what they do. And they do it in the worst way possible. Harlequins are just as terrifying, maybe more, than Drukhari. They are
some little creeps. I don't know too much about them, but I do know a little bit.
What happens is if you're Eldar or Drukhari, you can join the Harlequins, and you lose your sense of self. That you no longer have a name. You are just known as a troop, and unless you're depending on what rank you are, you become that, and that's it. So and what they do is when they fight, they actually reenact famous battles and they tell stories through their fighting. So essentially, they're interpretive dancing while they're slicing your head off. Is kind of what they're doing. It's like a giant. If you know what a kata is in the
like karate,
like karate. You know, like a kata is like a pre-made like little dance that you do.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, and like I said, they're just telling that story. And actually, one of the characters, the Solitaire, is a oh man, what's that one called that we were just talking about? I have the model. I just bought the model.
The Mask?
Yeah. The Mask. So he directly is making fun of the Mask when he fights. So he's like, they make fun of Slanesh the entire time that they're doing it. It's they're baiting Slanesh out is what they're doing because they want to fight Slanesh and kill it and shit like that.
Wouldn't Slanesh kind of like that though? Not getting too deep into this, but like Slanesh, it's like that's kind of like they're the sadists, and then Slanesh is like obviously like stepping up to the plate as the masochist. Just I'll take that. That's nice.
Yeah, actually, no. I was just looking at what Dice said. He said you'd become an unsullied in essence, no name, no history, just primed for war. Absolutely, like that's the best way that you could put that. 100%. Show the model. I have not built the model, but I have the package. Hold on.
Yeah, show the package. Show me your package. In context. Also, George, I'll work on getting you a Zombie John cutout. I need to get a good photo of me.
I don't think you're going to be able to see this very well because it is the print is dark. Even looking at, there's no way you're going to see that.
Do the full screen. Might be able to see it a little better. Oh, that's smarter. Look at you little big brain guy.
There he is, or she, whatever the hell it is. There it is, right there.
Androgynous, I think is the word.
Yeah, the whole army is super androgynous. But anyway,
Daddy, chill.
Jim said I have perfect 2020 vision. Like that matters. I love it. That's too funny. It's too dark in here. Anyway, so Drukhari, and this is the whole new detachment is based around Drukhari and Harlequins working together, which I think is super fluffy, super fun. Because, like I said, they have removed so much of the fluff out of Drukhari that it's sickening. But I love that they're kind of going back to it a little bit. So what they've done is they basically set it up like Drukhari and Harlequins have placed a wager before the battle, and at the beginning it's just assumed that Drukhari are winning that wager. Anytime a Harlequins unit destroys an enemy unit, Harlequins are now winning the wager, and vice versa. Anytime a Drukhari unit kills an enemy unit, they're winning the wager. So the reason why that's important is because each time a Drukhari or Harlequins model from your army makes an attack, if that model's unit is losing the wager, reroll a hit roll of 1 and reroll a wound roll of 1. So like at first, when I first heard that, I was like, that's stupid, because it's like you should be winning. That means you're better. But it makes sense. If you're losing the wager, you're going to fight harder. So, you want
to win.
Yeah. So, super fluffy, super fun, and it doesn't seem overpowered. It just kind of gives you a reason to, throw some Harlequins in a Drukhari army, which I was wanting to do in the first place anyway for a while, because I love the Blitz guy. I can't think of his name right now. The Solitaire. He's one of my favorites, which I didn't include in my list that I'll be going over, unfortunately. I had him in there, and I was like,
I love that dude so much, but I can't do it.
I can't do it. I wanted him, but unfortunately, to make it work, or how I think it would work, I couldn't keep him. But some of the enhancements, I failed on 2020 vision, hoping for 2025 vision. So stupid. Harlequins or Drukhari model only. This is the enhancements. This is Arch Raider or Arc Raider. I don't know how it's pronounced. In the declared battle formation step, if the bearer starts the battle embarked within a dedicated transport, that dedicated transport has the Scout's 9 ability, Scout's 9-inch ability, which is fucking loco. That is so, that right there, automatically, as soon as I started reading this, I was like, all right, so the detachment rule is kind of cool. I mean, reroll hit roll 1, all right. I mean, we're only going to be missing on 2s for the most part. Rerolling wound rolls of 1 kind of sucks because it's like, Drukhari generally don't have a lot of strength, so they, you know, it's more weight of dice than it is like hard hitting things. But then I started thinking about, you know, anti-infantry nonsense. You know, like Lilith is basically going to get to reroll wounds because she's anti-infantry too with her attacks. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's definitely Lilith is 100% in this list. But I thought it was super cool that you could take the Archon, give him for 15 points the Scout's 9 ability, and be way up the board first turn. Not sure if that's where you want to be. Depending on how you're playing, definitely would be the last model I would probably put on the field. GW should make a Laughing God miniature. Absolutely, they should. Yes, I would definitely get very wet for that. I'm not going to lie.
he already is thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
One
that shit.
hundo.
Yeah, that Scout's 9. I mean, having an Archon out there, leading a unit of Incubi where they get like reroll hits and reroll wounds is just bananas. It's so stupid. Webway Walker for 15 points. Models in the Bears unit have the Deep Strike ability. Each time the Bears unit is set up on the battlefield using the Deep Strike ability, if that unit is currently losing the wager until the end of the turn, you can reroll charge rolls made for that unit. That's super useful. Awesome for 15 points. I mean, you're still rerolling a 9-inch charge, which is kind of, dupe. But I actually have a plan for that, so I'll go over that.
We have a plan for that.
Reaper's Cowl, 25 points. Harlequin's model only. Models in the Bears unit have the Stealth and Infiltrators ability. I am reading this at this point for the first time, not now, but when I was, and I am just fucking going nuts. I'm like, oh my God. Like, what are they not giving us right now? This is insanity. Like,
look at all these tools for the toolbox.
Yeah, there's a ton of, dude, it's so good, man. And then to top it off, the cherry on the top, Drukhari model only in your command phase, you can do one of the following. You can gain a pain token, and now you're winning the wager, or you can discard a pain token, and the Harlequins are winning the wager. So now you have a way to manipulate who's winning the wager at that point. One more thing to beat an Avatar of Cain.
That is very true.
Mr. Mikado.
One more tool to beat the Avatar of Cain.
Dude, we need it. We need it, man. There's not a good way for Drukhari
We need it.
Besides a million lances, there's not a good way to get rid of him.
Even then, half damage lances aren't as cool as you would think they are.
No, they're not. It's
oh God, really... I rolled a 1.
No, that sucks.
that's 2 damage. No.
So, those are the enhancements. So I immediately was like, all right, there's no way that the stratagems are any good, right? Nope. They're pretty good. Your shooting phase, one Drukhari or Harlequins unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Select lethal or sustains 1 until the end of the phase. Fucking ridiculous. So stupid. Yet another way for us to beat the Avatar with those lethal hits. Just so good. And then you're getting the rerolls on the 1s on top of it, even without a pain token. And I would assume that there's some people that would be like, well, reroll hit rolls of 1 is kind of wasted because you have pain tokens. Well, the cool thing is that if you have people hitting on 2s, you don't need those rerolls anymore. You're already getting the I mean, if you're fishing for 6s or something, obviously you're going to want a pain token because you're going to want to reroll everything. Like with Lilith, I reroll with her all the time. I save a pain token just for her so that I can get those 6s because she has sustained 2.
Because she's like so incredibly attractive. She gets that because she's that good too.
Skartha said, "Oh my God, snacks." He plays Slaanesh. He's a Slaanesh fan. Oh man, Jim's. I really need to get that counter up there.
There we go, Jim. Keep it going.
Sorry, I got to turn on my wife's porch lights with my phone. Anyway, yeah, lethals and sustain and you can use it for Drukhari or Harlequins. It's just so good. For 1 CP, get the frick out of here, man. Fateful roll. Fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Drukhari or Harlequins unit from your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more of the attacking units attacks. And there we go again with that stupid wording.
Attacking the attacks when attacking.
Essentially, sorry, they're playing a video. Essentially what this does is on a 4+, if you lose a model in that unit, they get what's it called? They get to hit again after they die. And Jim keeps fucking me up with this, and it's messing up my brain.
Fight on death.
Yeah, it's fight on death, and
Wow.
death throws is what it used to be called.
Yeah.
John, you're a piece of shit. I know it's you, son of a bitch. Murderous Circus. Fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Drukhari or Harlequins unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks until the end of the phase. Subtract 1 from the hit roll. Always useful. Not a waste at all. Death throws also useful. Probably situational. Would be nice to be able to, if you get caught off guard and one of your units you place poorly and you're like, you know what? All right, cool. I'm going to spend this CP and at least they get a 50-50 chance of fighting.
Yeah. It's good to have.
Yeah.
For sure.
Till the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. I know George is now God damn it. Math Hammer is high on this one. Yeah.
The Math Hammer is high on this one.
Well, I mean, dude, there's nothing better than a fast-moving army getting faster. I mean, that's just insane to me.
Especially for your play style, because I know how important, like, you utilize movement way better than I do. You know. What are you saying?
Go ahead. Nothing.
I was going to say that you have the play style of where, you have a specific goal in mind. You have units that have purposes and you want to fulfill that purpose. That movement is never going to hurt your play style. So I think it definitely is very beneficial because, you think in advance so well, the movement plays out good.
George, I appreciate that. I appreciate what you're saying right now, but George is just flooding the freaking chat with redeemables right now. So
yeah, and he took Daddy Chill. That's supposed to be me. I need to get on the board. We do need a counter for that because this is going to be an ongoing competition
for sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, being able to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which they advance. It's just, I mean, you're going to be using that probably, I would assume, turn 2 and 3 for sure. Maybe turn 1. You get that freaking Scouts 9 and you go first. Get out of there. You get an extra 3 inches out. So check this out. You start off generally, what is it? 24 inches away from each other, I think. That's like the in between, the distance in between your deployment zones, is I'm pretty sure where that's at. So like you're scouting 9, you can get out 3, so that's 12 inches across. So now you're already halfway across the board. Then you get your full movement, which is 7 for them. So what are we at? 9, that's 12. That's 19 inches across. And then you can advance. So let's say you get an average of 4. So we're at 23 inches across the board. And now you get your 2d6 roll.
Yeah, that's wild. That's a lot. That's like World Eaters level shenanigans.
That is World Eaters level shenanigans right there. Yeah,
like, 100%.
Totally. I'm kind of wondering.
Getting up the board.
I'm really wondering how well that's going to be utilized in the tournament scene. I'm sure, when you're playing against people that see that kind of stuff coming, it's harder to do. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna bait you in with stuff.
Well, not only that, me and you were talking about like the value of having scout units, or not scout units, but infiltrate to deny scout because they can't end within a certain distance of a unit. Uh, so that actually makes like infiltrate more valuable, to try to deny these really crafty turn one charges.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why when we went over the mission
Oh
sets,
yeah. No, I'm just reiterating it because this is like making it seem even more imperative to have, with all that movement. It's like we want to be able to deny that, control the space.
I think.
Daddy, chill.
God damn it, man.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
George and Jim are making this very hard right now. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what I'm talking about. George, double down. Jim, keep doing what you're doing. You only need one person.
George is one of the worst ones right now. But the next one is, which I don't know how to say, so scintillating, titillating. I know you and I said that the first time.
Not to be confused with titillating.
Wow.
This happens in your movement or your charge phase until the end of turn. Enemy units cannot use the fire overwatch stratagem to shoot at your unit. Dude, honestly, there is not one bad thing that I've seen. There is not one thing that I would be like, I think the closest thing is probably this fights on death. But I mean, shit, man, there's nothing worse in a Drukhari army than when you fucked your movement up and a unit dies because it didn't get to fight in the fight. You know what I mean? Like it just gets wiped off the table.
Yeah.
Without doing its thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that happened to me on last stream whenever it wasn't the bikes. The bikes were also disappointing, but when what's his name, the guy who was leading the striking scorpions, that guy.
Oh, what? He didn't get to fight?
No, he did, but he killed berserkers and then he died to terminators. But if he had had a fight on death, oh, that would have been so nasty.
Yeah. Your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move. Drukhari infantry or Harlequin's infantry unit from your army that is 9 inches within 9 inches of that enemy unit. You can make a normal move of up to D6 inches. If you're currently losing the wager, it can make a normal move of up to 6 instead. So this is a 2 CP strat, and this is where you're going to have to be one of those people that looks ahead. If you're going to utilize that, because it could be huge, you're going to need to be able to look ahead, know that you're leaving one of your units that you don't necessarily want dead yet, but you might want to bait with them. Say, you're
I love my motherfucking cross. Get up.
You cut out.
I didn't cut out.
Oh.
Just waiting for the Croc song to stop.
I was about to say, so what you're saying is that this is not something that is beneficial for me who cannot see 2 steps in front of me.
Not yet. That is definitely up there you need more games under your belt, man. You really just started. You haven't gotten a ton of games in, so don't be hating on yourself. You need more practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, confidence is key. I'm the best 40k player that ever existed.
Yeah.
Just wish it to an existence. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, with their movement, generally speaking, most Space Marine stuff has like a 6-inch movement, 7-inch movement, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I'm talking infantry models. It's like between 5 and 6, I think is like what their average is. So like, they're going to move and they're going to put you within 7 inches. You know what I mean? You can already have accounted for that, switched it over so that unit that you don't want to die in your last command phase is winning or losing the wager, and they just get an auto 6 to get away and just pull them completely out of charge range. You know what I'm saying?
Being able to manipulate the wager is so good to me. Like in my mind, like just reading it, being able to manipulate it how you want to is so strong.
And the cool thing is,
get.
One Drukhari, your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move. So here's the thing: is if they move they say they have a unit that can advance in charge, but they don't need to advance in charge, but they don't want to, like there's whatever. They get an inch away from you and they just moved.
Yeah.
You're just boop, go back. Now you're rolling a 7. Now, granted, that is statistic, for them to roll a 7. But I'm just saying it went from a unfailable charge to an easily failable charge, or it might like they might still get in, but they needed to use a CP to get there. They might have to re-roll it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the power of belief only works for orcs. That's funny.
They do have the power of belief. We need to talk about them pretty soon.
Yeah,
their new detachment's out as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll love talking about their lore because they have some hilarious lore.
I love praying to a god that it doesn't really matter. They're both basically exactly the same. Gork and Mork.
Yeah.
they're like the exact same thing.
Are they?
It's like, same? I worship. I mean, yes, it is pretty much the same. It's great. I'm from what I know now. I need to do a little bit more research on 40K, but I know a lot about the fantasy versions of them, and it is very entertaining. And I imagine they probably translated some of those to 40K. So I'm excited to do a little deep dive onto their lore.
Scartha says the orcs new detachment is a flavor win. Yeah, that's awesome because that's what I was saying at the beginning of this one. I don't know if you were here for it, Scartha, but it's this is definitely a flavor win as well. I love it. I don't feel like it's broken at its core. Some of these enhancements might make it a little over the top, but maybe this Scouts 9 is terrifying. This being able to scout your transport full of terrifying goodies inside of it is weird. We just went over that, so I'm not gonna bother going. Was it 12? 12 plus 7, that's 19 plus another 4. I mean, that's an average. Yeah, 23 inches. You're getting 23 inches across the board turn 1. That is a turn 1 assault easily.
Yeah.
So you could just go in there and just wreck house on somebody. But anyway, I mean, obviously that would then be a kamikaze unit, and I don't know how good that works for anybody, but yeah, I love it, man. There is not one bad thing in this detachment. Like, I am super excited about all of it. So much so that I have built my list, which I did not write down for you guys to see visually because I suck.
Oh, I got something for that, dude.
What do you mean?
Oh no! We suck again!
What do you mean? What do I mean?
Dude, check out Slanesh. You getting excited over things we've had? You know what? I am super interested to see what they have to offer.
I do want to see the. That's something we're thinking Friday. Try to cover the new detachments because I'm really curious for Chaos Demons because I almost have enough points for a full Khorne demon army.
Yeah, I mean,
rubbing
Friday
my head like a fly.
I feel like Friday we normally do our horror games, but I mean, there's nothing to say that. Yeah, there's nothing to say we can't. Legion, Demonica, Slanesh units from your army are eligible to declare a charge and a turn in which they fell back. That's always fun. I love that hit and run stuff. Units from your army have the following ability: Seductive Gambit. Hell yeah, dude. That's so
I like that.
Slanesh-y. Calling Gork and Mork the same has earned you a tab in the great data slate of judgment.
Okay. I'm a orc enthusiast, but in my mind, they are if anything, they're the same entity, and they're confused, and they're like, we're different, like in their mind, and they're two separate gods for the orcs. That's what I like to think. That's my head canon. I'll do a little bit more reading though.
I thought Gork and Mork, they used to grant different bonuses. I don't remember.
They do, but it's like,
so they're not the same.
But in my mind, they are. Like it's like Like it's same outcome, like different ways of getting to it.
Right.
Like
If they were completely different, they'd be the same.
yes, exactly. You hit the nail on the head, sir.
Um,
I have a very orc way of thinking, if you can't tell. So I fit right in. There's not a lot of thinking there.
Each time this unit ends a charge move, you can declare it will perform a seductive gambit. I'm already about this, dude. So they just start tearing their clothes off or some shit. If you do until the end of the turn, this unit does not have the Fights First ability, but instead, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. Huh.
Ooh.
Okay. So that is awesome because Fights First doesn't really do much if you're charging. Because you already gained Fights First when you charge. So this basically gives units, I'm assuming, that have the Fights First ability the something to do other than Fights First, right? If you do until the end of the turn, this unit does not have the Fights First ability. Okay, so do they all get Fights First? Do all units have Fights First?
My brain is too small for this.
I would assume that you have to have the Fights First ability for this to happen. No, charging gives Fights First. Oh, yeah, okay. I said that, and I'm dumb. Fights First. Yeah, you gain the Fights First ability. What if you already have the Fights First ability, though? Guess you can do the same thing.
Double Fights First?
So you're going to charge and get hit first, or if you do it as the first. So you charge, you hit first, and then the second one is able to be whatever it's called anyway. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I just don't know if Slaanesh deals well with getting hit. I guess it depends on what you're attacking, obviously. I'm wondering if there's some enhancements or something that go along with this. 30 points. Holy Lord. False Majesty. While friendly Slaanesh unit, excluding monsters, is within 6 inches of the bear, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the wound roll. That is awesome. While a friendly Slaanesh unit, excluding monsters, is within 6 inches of the bear, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll. Okay, so for 60 points, we're now pretty much hitting everything on 2s and wounding everything on the game on 5s at a minimum. That's really good for 60 points.
Yeah.
Talk about making a unit punch up. Holy Lord. At the start of each phase, if there are no other friendly units within 6 inches of the bear, you can reroll advance rolls made for the bear, reroll charge rolls made for the bear, ignore any or all modifiers to its move characteristic, and to any advance and or charge rolled. Whoa. Avatar of Perfection, 15 points. Slaanesh monster model only. At the start of each phase, if there are no other friendly units within 6 inches, you can do a whole bunch of shit. That's awesome. Totally worth 15 points. Not seeing a bad one here so far. Soul Glutton. Slaanesh monster model. I'm glad they didn't forget about the monsters because they do make up a good portion of Slaanesh mono armies. At the end of the fight phase, if 1 or more enemy models were destroyed this phase as a result of 1 or more of the bearer's attacks, it can use this enhancement. If it does, it regains D3 lost wounds. At the end of the fight phase, if 1 or more enemy models were destroyed this phase. Okay, yeah, cool. I mean, that's Soul Glutton is the same one that they've had, I believe. I think it may have been called something else. I can't remember. But I know that they had that ability or that available to them before. Thieves of Pain. Any phase just after an attack or mortal wound is allocated to a model in the Slaanesh unit from your army, excluding monsters. Select 1 friendly Slaanesh unit within 12 inches of your unit until the end of the phase while the selected unit is on the battlefield. Each time a model in your unit would lose a wound, inflict 1 mortal wound on the selected unit instead. Okay, so you can just pass off mortal wounds to another unit. Got you.
Yeah. Keep reading. I will be back in 2 seconds.
In the fight phase, 1 Slanesh monster unit or up to 2 Slanesh units from your army that have been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in one of those units makes an attack, add 1 of the wound roll. Okay. So if you don't have that false majesty person there anymore, if they died or if they're just not in range, then you've got a 2 CP. Wow, man, that's awesome. That is so good that you can do that for 2 units. And that's totally justifiable for 2 CP. Yeah, not just mortals, any wounds. Yeah, no, I hear you, Scartha. Sensory excruciation. Your command phase, 1 Slanesh monster unit from your army that's on the battlefield. Each time a unit on the battlefield that is within your army's Shadow of Chaos must take a battle shock test. Subtract 1 from the test if they are below half strength. Each unit that is on the battlefield that is within your... Each unit. Why would we subtract 1 from the test? Each unit on the battlefield that is within your army Shadow of Chaos must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from that test if they are below half strength. Why does that sound weird to me? 1 Slanesh monster unit from your army that is on the battlefield. Each unit on the battlefield that is within... I don't understand what we're doing here. Okay, designer note. This stratagem forces all friendly and enemy units alike. Yeah, that's what I figured. I was like, man, each unit, that sounds crazy. This stratagem forces all friendly and enemy units alike within your army Shadow Chaos to take a battle shock test. This can allow a Chaos Demon player to heal units from their army through Demonic Terror army rule at the risk of causing some of their own units to become battle shocked. Yep, gotcha. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Phantasmal Longing, your movement phase or your charge phase. 1 Slanesh unit from your army until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes a move, it can move through terrain features. Wow. Wow. Okay.
I feel like I just missed something really important.
Yeah. One Slanesh unit from your army. Does not specify. So this would include monsters or cavalry or beasts or whatever. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a move, it can move through terrain features.
Ooh.
No, I don't think you understand how big of a deal that is.
I know it is for the big ones.
That is dumb.
Especially when most lists are going to bring, greater demons.
Yeah,
because it affects them too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's huge. Your charge phase just after a Slanesh unit from your army ends a charge move. Select 1 enemy unit with an engagement range of your unit, then roll a d6 for each model in your unit that is with engagement range of that enemy unit, or roll 66 instead if your unit is a monster unit. For each 4+, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Okay, so they're getting... fuck, I can't remember the old school name for that. It's when they charge and they take wounds. I can't think of the name of it. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Slanesh unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of those attacks. That attacking unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result. And I'm assuming if they're in the Shadow of Chaos, they're going to have to -2 to that. They're actually utilizing the battle shock stuff pretty well, it seems like, with this army, which I like because it's very fluffy.
Yeah. I do think that battle shock in general needs to get a little bit of love. Like, get more, it needs to feel impactful. Because your guys are,
yeah.
I don't want to die.
You're not safe from Shalaxi. Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, everybody's loving on Shalaxi. I'd rather have...
I think she is good.
No, she's
really
great.
Think that...
I'm not saying Shalaxi's bad. I'm just saying, I think 2... what's the other one that that I can't think of. Keeper of Secrets. I feel like 2 Keeper of Secrets is... I think I'd rather have 2 of them. Anyway.
But imagine having her and then 2 Keeper of Secrets.
Oh, okay. Imagine if I had 3 Keeper of Secrets and 3 Shellaxes.
Imagine if I had 10 greater demons on the field at the same time. Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty nasty.
The attacking unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result. The test is passed until the end of the phase. Each time a model and attacking unit makes an attack that targets your unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. If the test is failed, in addition to being battle shock, till the end of the phase, the attacking unit cannot select your unit as the target of any attacks. That unit can then select new targets for any attacks that targeted your unit, dude. Oh, that's so good. Okay, it's just the shooting phase. Okay. All right. Ooh.
Less good.
Wow. It is less good, but it's still really good. Yeah, no, it's still really good. And it's only 1 CP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about Slaanesh. What a good time for me to pick Slaanesh up, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm more excited about Khorne. Our Khorne got some love too. And I have the demons. We have the demons.
We have the meats.
Arby's. Oh. You said the line.
Yeah, so I'm going to... Oh, man. God, I love Slaanesh, dude. I can't wait to get that stuff painted and put on the field, which, by the way, I am in the process of painting my Slaanesh, and I am doing it in the Zombie Fishers theme colors. So we're doing purple, pink, and green. Which
it's funny because I feel like that's very Slaanesh-y.
Oh, super Slaanesh-y. Yeah, I'll be doing my Admech in the same fashion as well.
Very seductive, if I do say so myself. I find myself seduced by those colors. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I love those colors.
All right, dude. Hell yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm more of a like crimson and black kind of guy. I'm a little edgy, if you couldn't tell.
Contorted epitome now. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Get out!
I didn't.
No, I'm gonna say it again
because
you didn't respond, and that made me feel really bad.
I'm sorry, man. I was like, you started saying that, and I thought you were clarifying and like about to say something that wasn't weird, and then I started reading what Scartha wrote, so I missed it. What did you say?
I said that I'm more of a crimson and black kind of guy, blood and darkness. I'm a little edgy. Did you say that? I was like, oh man.
Well, I mean,
I'm not nearly as funny as I want to be.
You're not wrong, I guess. You are black, red, and gold that you picked for the colors for your army. So I mean,
for Tau, for Khorne, and for.
Oh yeah, you did do that for Tau, didn't you?
Yeah, that's going to be my Tau colors too because I have all the paints and it's a lot easier to do.
I still think it's funny that you're a Tau player and a World Eaters player and Khorne player.
I really like the Tau and I really like Khorne. It's just so focused. I can get behind it. I like it.
Well, let me go over this list really quick, and then I want to hear yours.
Oh. So we're going over the list.
So
yeah, I want to hear yours.
This is for going back to Drukhari. So I've got an Archon, which I will be giving him the Arch Raider for his Scouts 9 to get across the board fast. I've a Homunculus who will be leading a 10-man unit of Rax. I gave them the Deep Strike ability. I have Lilith Hesperax, obviously, leading a squad of witches.
We love her here.
I have a Cabalite Warrior squad that is going to be getting inside of a Venom, and I'll be splitting that up just for more of a footprint on the field, and so I can put somebody in my backfield objective. The Rax and the Witches. The Rax is going to be just deep striking where they can to take over an objective and just survive. I mean, dude, they get a 4+ feel no pain with the Homunculus. So they have a 6+ feel no, or a 6+ invul with a 4+ feel no pain. So I mean, they just don't die. Well, I mean, they do. They're 1 wound models, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to take them out.
Gives them a little bit of durability.
That Incubi unit's going to be with my Archon, which, if you've played Drukhari, you know that they're pretty dumb if they're powered up. They get rerolls to hit, and I think they get rerolls to wound, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, each time a model that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the wound roll. So yeah, you're definitely it's so good. I also have, obviously, I'm bringing 2 5-man mandrakes for those secondaries, because mandrakes are the secondary champs in 40k. And I have 2 5-man scourge squads with all bricked up with dark lances. And I
Bricked
have
up with dark lances.
yeah. And I've got a unit of 2 Talos paint engines with the gauntlets and the heat lance and a liquefier gun. The heat lance gives them the ability to advance and shoot, and I just want them getting up the board, still doing what they do. So yeah. For my Harlequins side, I brought 2 units of 2 Skyweavers. I put Star Bolas and Haywire Cannons on them. So Star Bolas are D3 shots apiece. They hit on 3, strength 7, AP -2, 2 damage each with a 12-inch range. These guys have a 14-inch range, so these are the jet bikes for the Harlequins, by the way.
Yeah.
I gave them the Haywire Cannons because I figured that could probably take off some of the pressure on my Scourges. Haywire Cannons are anti-vehicle 4 with devastating wounds, and they get 2 shots apiece. It's 3 damage apiece. So, also remember, I believe the Eldar get their base rule, the Harlequins, for Strands of Fate. I don't fuck with allies too much, so I'd have to make sure that you can use Strands of Fate in there, but I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't think you can. Because you can't with World Eaters, like the demons, you can't use their rules.
Yeah. Yeah, it's faction abilities. Not something, I don't ever build something with that in mind anyway, so I was just like, oh, I wonder if you can do that. But then I've got an 11.
That would be disgusting.
I've got an 11-man troop with that's going to be sitting there with the troop master, and they're going to be infiltrating. So a giant 12-man blob. I'm not sure if I like that or not. Still something I'm working on. Yeah, they don't get strands. Yeah, I didn't think so. I was like, I don't use allies much. I don't think they get their base rules like that, but I couldn't remember.
That would be nasty.
But yeah, I mean, if we're doing player place terrain, the 12-man troop unit might not be terrible. But oh yeah, I was giving him something as well. Oh yeah, sorry. It was the, what's it called? The God bless. The Reaper's Cowl. There it is. Models and Brazen have stealth and infiltrator's ability. And I lied. The Homunculus is going to be getting the Conductor of Torment. So the Conductor of Torment is the ability to flip-flop if you're winning the wager or losing the wager. Yeah, I just remembered I gave them a boat for that. So, but yeah.
That is really good. That is definitely an auto include. I feel like, as someone who doesn't play the faction, but hearing being able to manipulate who gets what sounds really good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, you could play it and just, if you're really good at timing things, you could do it. But then, it's like, I mean, what if your opponent makes a save you weren't planning on making it? It's like they needed double 6s and they get double 6s. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
I would rather be able to control that than not control it. You know what I'm saying? Or like just go off of the actual wager, I guess, how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
But that's my list. I don't know if it's good or not. I don't really like having a giant blob. It feels weird having a big blob of dudes just in the center of the board. But the benefit of it is you do take up a lot of space with the not allowing them to do infiltrate themselves or scout. So, I mean, there's some benefits to it. Plus, they have a 4-up invul, so they are a little bit more tanky than my Drukhari counterpart.
Yeah.
I say tanky.
For-
They're toughness 3, 1 wound.
I love 4-up invuls, though. You know, that's especially when you roll like me. It's a good time. It's like gambling.
But yeah, you went a whole different route, didn't you?
I did. So to go over it, I'm gonna pull up my list right now. I did go a complete different route. I did the base, the on release,
Real Space
detachment,
Raiders. Yeah,
the Real Space Raiders. So for Real Space Raiders, you get an additional pain token for each. One for Archon, one for Succubus, and one for Homunculus. And of course, I brought all 3 to get the 3 extra pain tokens. I have an Archon, and my Archon has Art of Pain, which if he's on the battlefield in your command phase, you gain an extra pain. My focus was pain tokens, which I didn't really take into account as much. Like the stratagems play such a big part, and I was kind of like, maybe the pain tokens will be able to carry me through. When thinking about it, but I have the Archon. He gives pain tokens. He's attached to a unit of Cabalite Warriors, which I'm splitting up with the Venom. So my idea was to park him on the home objective so he could just farm pain tokens. I also have Drazar with his full unit of Incubi. And of course, Lilith, my wife, with her unit of witches.
My waifu.
And I did choose, so it's funny, like, hearing you talk about what's the rack equivalent of Urian? The Homunculus. I chose Urian over the Homunculus because I really liked his profile, and I thought that healing wounds might be good. I wasn't sure how that would actually play out. Because he has the cleansing flask.
Yeah,
which I was like, oh, that's super cool. Casket of cleansing. Sorry.
I would rather bring Urian because I love Urian, but
such a cool model.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you can't give him a enhancement, so that's why I went with a what's it called?
Oh, with the regular guy, the Homunculus.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have the. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so that's essentially what I have, and then to transport them, I have 3 Raiders, 1 for Lilith, 1 for Drazar, and 1 for Urian, and then the Venom to split up the Cabalites that I have just to try to get objective control, and then I have 2 Chronos, which my thought for them, I wanted to put the other version of them, the Talos, because they seem better, but I didn't have enough points. But I wanted a little bit of durability to move up the midfield.
Well, Kronos and Talos are they have completely different roles. So the Kronos is there to refund pain tokens. He doesn't do anything other than basically take up space, so it's another thing to screen with, which actually, believe it or not, I have had really good success using him as a screen. Where you leave like one spot that your opponent can get in, but it's, like the Kronos is there and they're like, fuck, I can't get back there. But I mean, most of the time, because you're kind of having to screen out your opponent, he's not where he needs to be all the time. And I mean, he's not bad. I mean, I love him. If you use him correctly, he's good. But yeah, to compare to the Talos, like the Talos are there to kill things and to tank. The Kronos is there to tank, but also not to kill things. So he's there to just refund you your what's it called? Your pain tokens.
I was trying to use him as like a cheap version of like trying to get up the field, like kind of like contest the midfield, but not necessarily commit because he doesn't have as strong as a profile as the Talos.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else you got?
But so I've played against you before, and I've seen how you eat up secondaries with mandrakes. So I did bring 2 units of mandrakes because I feel like they are necessary. Um,
That's
Super
a
strong.
staple in a
Yeah,
Drukhari list.
I've played against it enough to know. I'm learning, but slowly. I do have 3 Ravagers for anti-tank. You know, I feel like you need to have it just in case. 2 units of Scourges, and that is it for my list. So my whole focus for the list was trying to get pain tokens, um, and just try to shoot people off the board as efficiently as possible, and get the rerolls where I need them, and fight them off the board with the Drazar and Lilith. Um, as far as stratagems, I didn't look as far into it as I probably should have, but they do have some good stratagems. In particular, I really like Quicksilver reactions,
Mm-hmm.
which is in the shooting or fight phase. It's subtract 1 from the hit roll.
Yep.
I think that's really good. It doesn't affect the homunculus covens, but I mean, I would much rather use that on everyone else anyway. And then the other really standout stratagem is Insensible to Pain, which is until the end of the phase, each time a attacker targets this unit, you subtract 1 from the wound roll. But that's only for homunculus, so it's like it can give them a little bit more durability as well, which that affects Urian's unit and my Chronos.
Yep.
To give them a little bit more durability if I'm playing in the middle of the field with the Chronos.
Yeah, those are the only 2 you're going to use pretty much from that entire lineup of stratagems. The other ones are going to be, because you're going to be so busy making things -1 to hit, because you're rarely going to have any extra CP, because you're going to need it almost every turn.
Yep. And this is, I guess, kind of where being a newer player kind of hurts. I saw Alliance of Agony, which is if I target an Archon, a Succubus, and a Homunculus, I take away 1 pain token, but each one of them get a pain token.
So getting that to line up and actually use it.
That after thinking about it, whenever me and you talked on the phone, you told me, which ones you thought were most beneficial. I started to think about it. I'm like, wait a second. When is it that all 3 of them are going to be on the board and not dead to use that? Which, like, ideally, it sounds really good, but rarely is it going to be that idea. I mean, it would be super cool. I mean, the Archon is already on the board because I'm keeping them on the home objective to farm pain tokens. But having Lilith and Urian on the field at the same time and both alive is maybe not the way to go with that.
Scartha said, "I'd let you once." Yeah, it's never gonna happen, dude. Well, not
yeah.
never, but the occasion for it to happen is so. The window is so small because you really need to be smart with Lilith, because you want to get her in there and you want to make sure that she actually gets to fight. So she has fights first, but it doesn't confer to the unit. So it's not like you can just park them somewhere and but like guard an objective or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just not going to happen. There's honestly, there's so much that's wrong with that detachment. When you've got basically it's the same concept as, and I'm not hating at all. I think you're looking at it and you're like, oh, this one's actually a little bit more simple to play. There's not as much.
What a cool combo. Like I'm trying to synergize and it seems to line up, but it's like, in actuality, it's not as realistic as I thought it was.
Yeah, if you're going to run that army, what you need to do is max out the number of, because you want to get the benefit of your rerolls or your pain tokens. So you're going to want to max out how many lances you have, and that is just, that like you're looking at, either 3 boats or 2 and by boats I mean Ravagers, 3 Ravagers or 2 what's it called? Scourges, or you want 3 Scourges and 2 Ravagers, unless you can put them all together. I haven't found a good way to do that points wise. I know we've gotten some points decrease since I've played that detachment, so it might be possible now. But like, it is so hard to play. I took that detachment to LVO when it had like a 38% win rate. I actually did pretty well with it. I didn't bother with doing any of the let's get extra pain tokens stuff. I don't think. I can't remember what my list was when I went there, but I was more focused up because you're rewarded for killing things. You're getting pain tokens by killing things. You know, it's like there's times when you have almost you have all of these pain tokens and nothing to use them on.
Yeah, that's where maybe I got too caught up in when making this army was I was like, okay, I started out with 6 pain tokens, so like that's got to be good, right? You know, like re-rolling all those hits, but the other detachments do offer stratagems and enhancements that are, I feel like, pay out a little bit better than pain tokens do.
Well, I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I didn't take into consideration like how big of a factor the stratagems and enhancements would be. Like after hearing you read the enhancements for the new detachment, I was like, oh, the enhancements for this are not as good as that. You know, like it's like a hindsight. You know, like you're only gonna figure it out if you play.
Yeah.
And you have the experience, you know, especially with Drukhari.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, so for example, your Ravager, and this is why you're not going to use them as much as you think you are. So when a Ravager shoots at an unwounded target, they get rerolls of 1s to hit. Like that comes baked into the profile of the Ravager. So if you're using pain tokens on a Ravager when you're shooting at, you know, a tank that doesn't have wounds on it or something like that, like to me, you're not going to have a good time because you're burning through your CP or your pain tokens for kind of no reason. You're only missing on 2s. So you have you have a 1 in 6 chance of rolling a 2. So it's like I would rather just not waste the pain token.
Now with the Ravagers, is it unwounded vehicles or is it monsters and vehicles?
It's anything. Unwounded unit.
Oh,
it's like an unwounded target.
Yeah, that makes it feel way worse having all those pain tokens.
All the flavors of
especially
Drukhari.
With how heavy I went.
Scartha said all the flavors of Drukhari taste good. he's a Slaanesh person, but
yeah, a Slaaneshi cultist like how we would be.
Yeah.
Kyle talks a big game about Drukhari, but if we were in the 40k universe, he would be a Slaaneshi cultist day one. He'd be like, yes.
Not unless
send me to the meeting.
Not unless
initiate me.
If Lilith needed a little housewife, I would be the little housewife.
Yeah, we would not be so fortunate in the 40k universe. I mean, like, you know, hopeful. I'd be in the same boat, you know, like Lilith, I'm good at combat. Use me.
Let me holla at you. No, but and I mean, even with not the real space raid, the other detachment, I can't think of the name of it right now.
I can pull it up. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're getting. I've got it right here. You're getting Lance
Splinter.
The Splinter
Sky
Assault.
Splinter.
Yep. You're getting Lance with your melee. You're getting ignores cover with your shooting. You know, with transports and stuff. Like each 7 Drukhari unit from your army disembarks from a transport until the end of the turn. That unit's ranged weapons have the ignores cover, which I never use because I'm always in my boat shooting. And the unit's melee weapons have the Lance ability, so you're getting +1 to hit, +1 to wound when you charge.
Yeah, so Lance is good.
And you don't have a ton of close combat in your list, so might not be huge for you, not to mention the one that does a lot of the weight. Carrying has anti-infantry too. But you're going to struggle with that list, in my opinion. You're struggle. You're just going to struggle with that list. Having
struggle bus. You're going to have a bad time.
You're not going to have a good time with it, dude.
You're not going to have a good time.
At least you're not a soul grinder or the harp guy. Yeah, the harp guy. Oh man.
Dude, I love that. That is such a cool model.
It is an amazing model. I love it.
Let me go ahead and let's take a step back from the stream and let's talk about how cool that model is, because that is probably one of my favorite models in 40k. And like is like, you know, I want to imagine that it's his
what is the name of that?
Like muscles. Oh, it's the oh my gosh.
It's gonna drive.
It's not the contorted epitome, is it?
No, it's
it's something else.
Infernal and Rapturous.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Such a cool model. And I like to think it's like the strands of muscle make up the little sinew for the harp. Oh, too cool.
Yeah, I just pulled it up so they could see it. It's a very cool model. I love this thing.
We love that here. Slanesh is secretly the MVP.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, look, they're temporarily out of stock. No way, dude. Not GW.
Yeah, couldn't believe that.
Temporarily out of stock. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, and people paint this to look so good, man. Where they got the sinew coming off of it, like they add stuff to it. It's just a badass model. I love it. But yeah, having played the army that you're trying to run, that detachment is just lacking, man. It doesn't. Yeah, rerolls the hit is cool, but it just doesn't have everything it needs to be. Unless you're gonna go, because when I brought my list to LVO, I think I had 32 lances in that list. So I basically just brought nothing but lance spam, and I
feel like I have a lot. I don't think I have that much, but I see what you're saying.
Hold on, you got 1 unit of Cavalite, so that's 1. Then you've got 3 Raiders, which is 4. You've got 8. So you got 12. You've got 12 with the Scourges, and then you've got another 9 with your Ravagers. So that's 21.
Oh, so I wasn't even close. And that's what you want it for, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, and one cheeky thing that you can do if you're going to run that, which I do no matter what, is you bring more Cavalites, because you bring as many Cavalites as you can because they have sticky, and you want sticky.
Yeah.
What you do is you bring Venoms. I brought 2 Venoms and 3 Raiders in my list, I think. And what you do is you take your Cavalite unit and you split them, and you put the 2 lances inside of one of the Raiders. So now you've got basically a makeshift Ravager. You've got 2 lances that are shooting from inside the ship, hitting on 4s unless you don't move, and then the ship hits on a 3. But I mean, you're just running around with, like, essentially, like I said, makeshift extra Ravagers when you do it that way. But like,
mobile platform Ravager.
You running Coven in that army, which is your homunculus and stuff like that. Running Coven units in that is just, I hate to say it, but it's a waste. Like, you're not going to do anything with it.
And my thought with that was like just that extra pain token, which, hindsight 2020, it's like you brought up such a good point whenever you said you have all these pain tokens, but if everything's dead, what are you using them on? Like,
well, it's not even everything's dead.
Yeah,
I'm talking about your stuff being dead.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Okay, all right.
Everything's dead on my side. Sorry, I should clarify.
No.
If everything's dead on my side, what am I going to put them on? Like, if I can't use them on my own units, what's happening?
You'd be surprised how quickly you shoot through 32 lances, by the way, and don't do anything. Like, literally, the second day in LVO, I could not kill anything. I would get stuff to go. I would hit everything, and then I would just roll nothing but 1s to wound, or like I would hit like 2, wound 2, and then he would save both or save 1, and then I roll a d6 and I only get a 1, so I got 3 damage off of that. It's just like it's crazy how quick and how ineffective. It's a very swingy way to play. It's super swingy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
coincidentally,
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, coincidentally, I think that there was a 5th Chaos God approaching.
Yeah,
I think he's the dice god.
Yeah, so actually I was talking about this the other day about a bit that I want to do so I could play it during like when we start the stream, or if we need to take a piss or something, we could have like a little funny video for you guys to watch. But it'll be, and we have the costumes coming. I say costumes lightly, but
24 through January 1st is the delivery date right now.
Got you. So he brought a full green suit so we could do some camera tricks with dice rolls and be like, oh, we birthed another chaos god. It's the dice god.
And a full black suit. So You
Yeah, like-
totally can see it, and he's just doing it. It's like nobody pays attention to him because he's a shadow creature.
Yeah, just like randomly, just have somebody dress up randomly in it, and it's like Logan. You know, it's like his big ass. Like
Okay, I didn't buy the right size for that, but to be fair, you know, he is the weakest but the strongest Chaos God.
It would just be funny to be like, hey, if you can spot the Chaos God in the room, you win a model or something. And it's Logan like hiding behind a lampshade or something.
Not even. Just in the middle, just intimidating. Just
my brother-in-law is like 6'1", and he's a fucking gigantic. He's fucking
huge.
A
unit.
Yeah.
A unit.
He is,
as the kids say,
gigantor. So having him in this tight ass, like, and it would be funny
wouldn't fit.
Hey, I was about to say,
the right size
like,
for that.
putting him in it, so like his whole stomach is just showing. Like it looks like he's wearing a little kid's outfit. You know?
Like bursting through, like you see it ripping. It's just like,
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I'm the dice god.
Scartha said that can absorb a bunch of wounds through Thieves of Pain. I'm sure that was said a while ago. I think I missed it. I'm sorry, Scartha. I didn't mean to ignore it. Dude, when I get on Drukhari and talk about this stuff, I nerd the fuck out, man. I love Drukhari. Vicious. She's laughing at us, I'm assuming, talking about Logan being in. I'll have Logan on one night so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This dude's fucking gigantic. But yeah, the dice gods for sure. It's funny. Yeah, there's a lot, and I don't mean this in a shitty way, but there's some problems in that list. If you're gonna run that, we'll revamp it a little bit.
Yeah.
Your Archon should 100% be with a close combat unit like the what's it called, the Incubi, because
you think bring in 2 Archon, because I did like the attachment of where if he's on the field, you get that extra pain token. But I mean, we already talked about it that like maybe I don't have enough to where it's like I'm not even really utilizing all those.
Close combat's hard in that detachment with Drukhari, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because you just don't have enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's just not enough, and because the lances are so much more efficient at killing than your close combat is.
Yeah,
it rewards you for bringing more lances. Unfortunately, is where that's
lance
at.
Spam.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a lance spam army only, in my opinion.
It's good to be able to talk stuff like that out, because like whenever you look at it, like especially whenever you don't really know how the army runs, like a lot of stuff will look really good, but does it actually synergize as well on the table?
No,
is probably the biggest. Yeah, because it's like it seems good. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is great. But like actually playing, like I know, like turn 3, I'm like, okay, I messed up somewhere. I don't know whether it was playing or the list building process. I've made a mistake.
Well,
and it's good talking it through for sure.
Let's clarify here too. I think any list can beat any list. I think if you're a good pilot, like you can. I say that lightly. Any list versus any list. You're not going to take You're not going to take the one that the list, the Custodes list that won the Custodes won, right? They won the championships, I think. I'm pretty sure they did.
I believe so.
You're not gonna. I mean, either way, they made it up there. You're not gonna take a list like that versus that list, and you know, like it's gonna be a hard fight. You're not gonna have a good time with that. But I mean, you can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, and then you think about it here too, man. Each Drukhari or Harlequin's unit model from your army makes an attack. If that model's unit is losing a wager, reroll a hit roll 1 or a wound roll 1. So if you want your Drukhari stuff to be getting rerolls, everything gets a reroll of a 1.
Yeah.
Which you're really hitting. You're hitting on 3s for the most part, so you're only going to be missing on 2s.
Yeah.
So this already gives you the bonus, almost the bonus of what you're looking for anyway. You know what I'm saying? This just it adds more to it, in my opinion.
No, it's cool to see that, like the evolution of the detachments, like because I would imagine you're going to see a little bit of the power creep, like as they release new detachments, they're more tuned because they're new. You know, like you're gonna see the new detachments have like some things that are like, oh, I really needed that,
Dude,
because it's like to keep interest in the other factions.
This is the way that they should be releasing the codexes, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like they should release all codexes within a month so that we can all go through it, all look at it, we can all play test it, and then we can give our feedback to GW so that they can go back and balance the game. And then they could introduce, like your codex comes with, it comes with the thing for the app, and it's like it auto updates with the new detachments that are coming in because you bought the codex. So it's like, dude, just every time you get a new detachment, just add it to the fucking codex. It's like, I don't know why they don't do it this way. This whole waiting and piecemealing out armies over a span of like 5 years where we're not even getting, like, I might have an index for the entirety of 10th edition. Like, why are we doing this? It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know.
Don't cancel me for this. Don't cancel me for this. But I would say treat it like a video game. Have people playtest like beforehand before you even release it.
Oh no, they're just supposed
have, like,
to do
your
that.
Top tier. Yeah, just have your top. Don't cancel me. I said that. Stop.
No, what I'm saying is that they do have play testers though.
I'm doing a bit. Let me do my bit.
Okay, well, go ahead and do it.
No, it's over now because you were not having the bit.
Well, because it's serious though. It's like, dude,
don't cancel me.
Scart the saying money here, which is totally true. But I feel like you'd make more money if you released everything at the same time. Like I would be way more apt to buy more codexes if they were available. Like they're not even available.
Hear me out. Scartha, I don't know if you've heard our hot take. This is originally Kyle's idea. I'm not going to steal. I'm going to let him announce it. But what did you think about releasing digital codexes on their app service? Could you please tell us about that? Because I feel like that's a really good idea that
I'm
is not being implemented.
I'm convinced if they did tiers for the app, it would be way better. Like,
well, no, explain it, because I don't know if Scartha was there whenever you explained.
You pay $50 for a codex, right? So if I pay $5 a month for the app, I pay $5 a month for, we'll say, 1 to 2 codexes or something. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose a little bit of money. Like there's 1 codex gone, but you're getting access to 2 for an extra $5, which you're making up with the app, the cost of the app. So you're paying $10 a month for 2 codexes in the app. Then you go to like $15 a month. That gets you 5 codexes. $20 a month gives you, 20 code or 10 codexes or something. However they want to do it. But like they should have an ability where you can like pay $60 a month and have all of the codexes.
Yeah, and then a lot of people would be so inclined, like if you did like a deal. Like think about Audible. You do your like yearly subscription, $120 a year for all codexes, and you get to use the app, and it's unencumbered by the restrictions of owning a codex. Dude, people would be paying that easily. I would immediately. That I would drop $120 just to be able to access all the codexes. And I mean, like, people are still going to buy they're still going to buy the books because it's memorabilia. Like, people like that. You can still keep doing the books, but we got to go into the future.
Well, I mean, and the thing too is like if I have you still got to buy books on Audible.
You do, but you get tokens. So if you buy yearly, you get like 12 tokens. That was the comparison I was trying to make. I should have clarified. You buy a yearly subscription and you get tokens for the codexes you want to use. Or you have a premium yearly subscription and you get all the tokens for the codexes.
That's where I was kind of leaning towards, like when a new edition comes out, you pay $350 and you get access to all of those codexes for the entirety of that edition. You know what I mean? I mean, 350 is just an arbitrary number, but I mean, people pay $210 for, what was there, 5 models in that 200. Well, actually, I paid like $240 for that box set that we gave away. But like, that's $240 for 5 models.
Yeah.
Like, dude, to get all the codexes, a one-time payment for 5 years of $300 to get access to everything. I'll be more inclined to buy models at that point for other armies because I can run it. You know what I mean? John, get on Dark Tide. You could be my Ogren bodyguard. I actually,
Jim, is it crossplay?
I did buy Dark Tide, by the way, Jim. I don't know if I said that the other night.
If it's crossplay, I'm definitely getting it on PlayStation. But if it's not crossplay, I'll get it on PC. I don't really like playing shooters on PC because my hands don't work good on the keyboard and mouse. Yeah, I'll Google it, make sure, but I am getting it because it's on sale on both PC and PlayStation. So I will be owning it, and I'm pretty sure Kyle will be owning it as well, or already does.
Yeah, no, I already own it. But yeah, to go back to your list, man, I would think about the Archon, who he's with. I'd get rid of Drazar. Drazar is just not worth it. He's great. I love him. I love the model. I own it. I want to use him, but unfortunately, the Archon
is cool.
The Archon is just so much better with that unit that it's not even really. I mean, especially, I guess in the faction that you're running it with, he might not be terrible. Does he give them? I think he gives them +1 to wound. I can't remember. I'm so used to running it on the new detachment because that old detachment is just poopy Duke.
I can sell you in 2 seconds. Let me pull up my app.
And he's actually been reduced in points. He's 85. He used to be 100, I think. Yeah, add 1 to the wound roll. Each time a model in the unit makes attack. Yeah. So if you're going to use him, I guess that would be the time to use him in that army.
Yeah.
But I'd rethink that Archon. I'd rethink him for points purposes because you want more lances. And remember, your army is not synergized around close combat, so you're going to need to shoot more.
I refuse to budge on Willa. On Lilla. Sorry.
No,
can't get rid of her.
I mean, she's good, man. She's
no, it's not even that. She's too hot. Can't get rid of
her. Spoken like a true tournament player.
Yeah, spoken like a true tournament player.
Oh no, I've missed the guard rules. No, you have not.
No, we'll be covering that soon.
Yeah, Jim's been harping us about the guard. We need to do the guard. If we're gonna do, go ahead.
Plus, if that's the next army I start, which I think it would be, and I'm gonna do Corn Guardsmen, dancing zombies.
Nothing to write home about, sadly. I'm assuming he's talking about the new detachment.
Oh no, don't say that.
Did they get a detachment? I don't remember.
I think they did.
Ratlings? That's a unit. Nurgle, cast Demons, Drukhari, cast Space Marines, Eldari, Armored Warhost. No, yeah, Astra Militarum. There it is. Yeah, we can go over this. Not now, but
not now. Not the 3 seconds.
No, definitely not now. But I'm thinking you could probably take the lead on that if you want to, man. I mean, since you're wanting to play him. I would love to. I want to learn
some Caiaphas. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I could drop some Caiaphas Cain lore. I know Jim's read the books too. He knows. Because we talked about it in the Discord about how Jurgen should look. So I would love to drop. I don't know. It's sad because apparently everybody's using Gaunt's Ghosts, which are not the books I've read.
Well, so the reason being,
I might need to read some of those.
Well, Gaunt. All right, so that's because it's tournament play, and Gaunt's Ghosts are really good tournament play wise. I know nothing about any of the lore. I just know
it's a whole book series.
Okay, yeah, they're super good. They get like every rule available to them. They have like lone ops, stealth, frickin' infiltrate. They've got deep strike, shit like they got everything. It's stupid.
Dude, they're commandos.
Gaunt's Ghost got a points hike in the data slate. Yeah, they deserve it. They're really good. Kyle grinds his teeth every time guard is mentioned. I grind my teeth no matter what. Actually, that's why
he grinds it.
That's why I've got that TMJ, man. My jaw has been fucked up. You've been sitting here watching me like going like this, like trying to rub that out.
Yeah, every time I interrupt Kyle, he grinds his teeth, and I'm pretty sure I'm like the leading cause of like his
My face
yeah.
my face
I'm slowly
arthritis.
I'm slowly like changing the I'm slowly changing the what is it, the biology of his mouth.
They also
That
took
sounded kind of dirty.
yeah, a little bit. They
A
also
little
took
bit.
my boy Leonidas out back and buried him. Leontis, not Leonidas. Yeah, I know nothing about what we're talking about right now.
Oh, dude, you don't know about Sly Marbo?
I know the name and I know it's Rambo. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Rambo, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly I'm looking forward to it only so I can learn how to defeat them better because
Nah,
that is an
I'm gonna
army
fall in
that
love
is
with him.
it's an overwhelming army to deal with. Like it really is, like coming from an outside perspective when you're playing an Imperial Guard army, there is so much going on with like giving orders and this person's doing this and I have no clue what's happening. There's a lot of trust being given to my opponent because I'm just like, okay, cool, man. It sounds like you know what you're doing. And all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're dead. You're dead. You're dead. I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? He's like, I just showed you, I did all these things.
Which is funny because like in the books, like the guards always getting shit on by everything. But like the army's like super solid and you're like, oh, this is a formidable force. But they're like the fodder for the Imperium.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Nobody brings giant conscripts or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like that
That
used
would
to
be
be
hilarious.
Well, it used to be the play back in 5th edition. So like you had all of their shooting from their tanks, which was fucking stupid. And then you also had to deal with units of 50 conscripts that you could literally just replace them when they die. Like a whole nother 50-man unit comes out. 5th edition was wild, man. If you guys think things are crazy now, like the way that the game played in 5th was just out of control.
I kind of feel like I would fit in more with the older editions because I would get so into it.
It definitely got you in more on the fluff aspect of everything because the game was a lot more fluffy, but it was very, very sided. You know what I mean? Like Imperial Guard, like you went to a tournament back in the day, Imperial Guards show up, you're just like, well, it's been fun. Enjoy your time that I'm going to give you because I refuse to play.
I will take my models off of the table.
I would never refuse to actually play, but it would be like I went up and just shook their hands and be like, "Hey man, I see that you have Imperial Guard. I'm going to play and we'll have some fun. We'll roll some dice, but I already know you won this." And of course
it's been good in advance.
So, yeah, they've had a history of doing very well, which is funny to me because it's Guard, and they just die.
They're not supposed to do well.
But anyway, that's about all I've got for today, man. I just wanted to talk a little bit of Drukhari, go through some stuff. I know I'm sitting here on the Slanesh screen, but yeah, I'm pretty stoked about all these new detachments coming out. And I really hope they adopt this whole rapid fire release thing. I hope that turns into a thing for GW. If we give them some good feedback and be like, "Hey, this is awesome," and it just, I don't know, man. It feels like a good way to get GW on the right track. When you release everything at the same time, it's like, oh, this one's overpowered to this one. This one's overpowered to this one. Now we can make the changes, balance things out, bring it a little bit closer. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's a better way to do that, but I could be wrong.
No, I think that having the old saying "more is less" I don't think really applies to like games that have people constantly playing it. Like I think that constant change is good. Like keep it consistent.
Jim,
as things change.
I think Tau came out in 6th edition, I think. I don't think they were there in 5th. That was I'm not going to lie, that 2009 period of my life up until like, I don't know, a couple of months ago when I quit drinking is a pretty hazy period of my life.
That was why would you say it like that? That's so depressing. Stop.
There was a there was a lot
We don't
of
talk about the dark times.
which is like my whole life, pretty much. It's like
The dark ages were like from 2 years old to
like
35.
yeah, like last month.
Yeah.
But hearing the stuff that I went through, what did you think of what do you think of your initial choice? And now what do you think about Drukhari like from a different lens?
So my initial choice, I feel like you have way more options with your list. Uh, like the things where what I was relying on with pain tokens are not as beneficial to me now, knowing, like, hearing the other detachment in greater detail. I'm like, wait a second, I'm not getting these stratagems. I'm not getting the movement, like that you're getting, which I think are more valuable than the pain tokens at the end of the day. And same thing with like the enhancements. Like even the enhancements are so much better. Um, it's a different play. Like I need to. I wouldn't say that this detachment's terrible, but how I play the detachment needs to be better because there's a little bit less room for error in terms of like the list needs to be a little tighter, and I need to utilize. If I'm going to go all in on pain tokens, I need more lances, like you mentioned, and to really play how it should be played, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to drone, but that's hearing you go through it and hearing you read it. I think it's always good to have somebody to backboard when you're thinking about stuff because like the way you think about it might not be the most realistic.
The way I think about it, or the quintessential the proverbial.
Yeah, the proverbial, like how I think about it, I need to hear somebody else like say what they're excited about or like what they see before I can really make a solid opinion
You know what that reminds
about
me
something.
of? That reminds me of when I went and saw what's that movie? The first time I saw Superbad, I did not think it was funny. I actually went and saw it with my ex-wife the first time, who was lame, super lame,
Yeah.
and hated it. And then I saw that movie with the right people who were laughing, and I was like, oh, that's where that's supposed to be. You know what? That is funny. And then I watched it again by myself afterwards. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually funny. Yeah. Then now, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Perspective is everything. And it's like if you only think about your perspective, you do not see the good points that other people might pick up on. And that's essentially like competitive play in a nutshell. Like you go against people like some of the people who are like way more critically minded and really fine tune their list to like the point where it's almost like, it's purely math. You're like, oh, I can easily see my mistakes now, but if I never played against those people or never saw what was doing good, I wouldn't know that it was good.
Airman,
that might just be rambling.
No. Airman said the one thing that's always crossed my mind. Have you played games where you and your opponent announced what your plan was with every move simply to learn and have no gotchas? Yeah, we used to do that all the time. Not you and I, John.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, Airman, you and I have done that numerous times.
I tried to do that in the last game, actually. Like, I was like, hey, I have redeploy. Like, don't commit too much because, like, I'm gonna try to change it up just because it helps me learn, the more I know. So I try to talk it out like, in a good way.
Yeah,
it's not like, oh.
And if you're preparing for an event too, doing that thing that we talked about, where if you find out from your organizers if they're going to be doing player place terrain, I cannot tell you how important it is that you get the information before you go to that tournament on what the rules are for terrain placement, because each tournament's different. So try to get as much information as you can from your tournament organizers on how the terrain works. Are you guys going to be running the bottom windows of the 3-story buildings are closed, like where you can't see in or out of them. How far apart did the terrain features need to be? How many of each terrain feature are there? What different types are there? And then just get with a friend. Eldar are full of gotchas. Yes, they are. That is the point of Eldar. But get with a friend and just practice, like we said the last time we were talking about this. Get with a friend and just literally go through the first turn and recock. Go through the first turn and recock.
I think that would be invaluable for new play. Like, especially like me, I couldn't even imagine how to place terrain. I've never done it. All the tournaments I've played, it's pre-placed terrain.
Yeah, I mean, it gets a little monotonous. I mean, it's like drills. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of want to be able to drill because, like I said, you don't want to be the reason why you guys don't make your 3-hour mark. You want to make sure that you have as much opportunity to score points as possible, and you don't want to steal from your opponent either because you don't want to be that guy that's accused of slow playing or because you don't know the game well enough, like you're causing issues.
Yeah. I think that was actually, just to interject real quick, my first worry whenever we first started doing like tournaments was I was like, man, I really do not want to be, because you know how I am. I talk really slow. I play really slow. I don't want to be the guy that's like slowing the game down. So I tried like on purpose to play as fast as possible. And I was making a ton of mistakes, obviously, because I was like, please, I don't want someone to say like, this dude is trying to screw me over on time. But it's like, there's so much to remember. It's like 3 hours sounds like a lot of time. But when you actually sit down and play, it's like, oh my gosh, time is flying. But maybe I'm just a slow-minded person.
No, you're not. You're not. You do like to make sure that your bases are covered, and I'll watch you playing, and I can see you as you're holding your dice in your hand, and you're sitting there like, okay, do I have everything? Do I have everything? And I'll be like, dude, roll your fucking dice. And you're like,
yeah,
okay, hold on. I know what you're doing, but I'm trying to tell you to move faster so that you start getting that. And the only way to get past that, John, is to just learn your army. Like, take your lists because you need to go to a tournament soon. We both do. Like, we both need to go to tournaments. Yeah. And what we need to do is we'll write a list together. We'll hash it out. We'll do all that stuff. And then we'll start practicing together, like just playing that army over and over and over again. So there isn't a thought. The only thing you need to be thinking about is what your opponent's doing. You don't need to look at your what's it called anymore?
My app.
Dude,
check all make sure everything is working right.
there was a time when I was playing Drukhari that I literally could write lists without my book.
Yeah.
Like on a napkin, I could just make a list because I knew the points cost, and this is when you had to pay for points cost for weapons and shit, weapon upgrades. Like, I knew the upgrades for everything. I knew all the points costs. I knew how they worked. And that's kind of where you need to be if you're going to go to tournaments. You know what I'm saying?
That's so crazy to me because when I first started playing, there were apps available to make lists. And I know I'm fairly confident, I'm not going to guess, but I would say you were playing in a time where you had to do all that on your own. And I feel like I needed that experience. Like, I needed to be thrust into the age of not having apps to make it a little bit easier to where you can reference. So I needed to memorize a little bit better. It was just super funny to me.
Yeah. And I'm not ignoring you. I'm just acknowledging. Aaron Man said, first unsanctioned tournament I played, I was in the final game with player place and lost to a feels bad because I didn't understand terrain and just let them place it. Yeah, that's nothing worse than knowing that you could have done better, and because you didn't understand the rules, you end up fucking yourself, and that just it sucks. It really sucks.
Armand, I don't know if you watched the stream that we just had, but I thought I was so bad about it where I didn't know, and I was like, okay, I'm going to advance and my troops are going to get out. I'm going to pay a CP for this so they can shoot. And then I measure it and I'm like, oh, they did not get anywhere near where I thought they were going to get. Like, I pre-announced it. So it's one of those things that's just, I think practice definitely makes perfect in this. It's tried and true, but when you're playing, you're like, I got it kind of figured out, but I realized that I, in fact, did not have it figured out.
Well, I mean, a part of it, like you're saying, it comes with that experience of just knowing, like, those bikes have a 14-inch movement. I asked the question prior to the game starting to your opponent, do you have any anti-infantry shooting, or do you just have, like, anti-tank shooting? And I said that on purpose so that you would...
No, I know in hindsight, 2020.
Yeah, I'm saying for them, I asked that on purpose so that it would hint to you to put you could be aggressive with your bikes. And then you ended up placing them in the worst place possible.
And see, hear me out. Every good sentence begins with "hear me out." But I was thinking, I'm like, oh, dude, this Farseer gives such good buffs. I'm just gonna buff the Fire Prism, which it worked. Turn 1, but turn 2, 3, and 4, it was not good.
So here's the problem with that. That motherfucker already gets a built-in reroll for one of its 2 shots. So why would you, like, to me, why would you waste a full reroll on something, like a unit that can reroll on something like that? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like my small brain is like, this is so much damage, I need to ensure this goes through. Which is something like I just need to play more so I can get away from. Because, like, I'm like, oh, dude, 6 damage. Like, there's the possibility of 6 damage. I need this. I need to ensure this happens. But it's like, in the scheme of things, and I realized that after you talked it through, it's like, in the scheme of things, it's not, like, that important because I'm already getting, like, statistically, I should already be doing well on that front.
Yeah.
So I should be using them for something else.
And that's the thing. And that is the only problem with this game is its statistics. It's nothing set, like you can't make something happen. Like if the dice god is just not in your favor that day, that's just going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Daddy, chill.
Zombie John discount isn't working because there is no Zombie John discount.
There should be, though, right?
A big part is wording your question correctly. Another sanctioned tournament match I was in, I didn't know Space Marines, and I asked if they had blast type weapons. They didn't, but they had orbital bombardment commands.
That sounds horrifying. I don't know what that is.
This is probably a while ago when spacing mattered. So, all right, back in the day, blast weapons weren't just add a certain number of shots to your thing. It actually used this pie plate. That green pie plate that we use?
Oh.
So
yes,
I
do know that.
One of the things that you used to have to do back in the day, especially against Imperial Guard, because they had blast everywhere, you would have to space your models out because like you used every bit of 2 inches between each model because you didn't want to have that blast template just destroy that unit. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what he's talking about. But that's no longer a thing, but he's talking about making sure that you ask correct wording,
yeah.
You got to know the rules and the armies to know what to ask for. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And because it's like some questions, it's like, what's your anti-infantry? And then you might have somebody that's like a jack of all trades that kind of isn't really as good as, like, they say, oh, it's this unit, but that unit can also deal with others. Like it's not really anti-infantry because, like, you say that wording, but it's like maybe only 2 of their weapons are anti-infantry. So they're like, oh yeah, that's anti-infantry, but it's not like a truly focused. So the wording definitely matters.
One of the things that I ask my opponent before, like, regardless of who it is, pretty much, is what do you have that deep strikes? What do you have that infiltrates? What do you have that scouts? What's your longest range shooting? What's the profile on it? Because I know I play a lot of close combat armies, and I don't want my ships blowing up before they get there. So I know what to avoid, basically. And you want to ask that stuff before you place models. So if you don't know your opponent's army, you kind of need to spend a couple minutes. I would say like no more than 5 minutes dissecting his list. And he's going to want to... Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's actually something that I would be super interested in is like because I mean you've played in tournaments, you've played in the bigger tournaments. Like, what are the correct questions to ask? Because I wouldn't even begin to like. Usually, I'm like, all right, let's play. Hearing what questions to ask might help tremendously. For me and other new players. Getting into the game because like I don't. That's the first thought. Like when you said that, I was like, dang, I really don't know the questions to ask, especially for my army. Like, what questions are best suited for my armies? Definitely
Yeah,
something to cover in the future.
yeah, for sure. But those are the ones that I just listed are kind of the main ones. Jim said, "I feel like this would be a great movie idea. John is the Karate Kid and Kyle is Mr. Miyagi, but it's 40K."
I think we could totally pull that off. We're gonna do okay. So we're gonna start our training arc pretty soon for our next tournament. So
Yeah, we'll have a
stay tuned for
montage
that.
video.
Yeah, it's just like you telling me you're stupid. Fix yourself. And I'm just like,
Stop
and when you play
rolling
the
so
music,
shitty.
yeah, yeah, it's like stuff you can't even control. Stop being that way.
And you're like, there's like a video of you getting tired, just rolling dice and rolling dice
Yeah.
and rolling dice.
I'm like sweating, like practicing rolling dice.
You finally, yeah. You gotta have a montage, a montage. But yeah, those are the main questions that I ask. Is like, I need to know: do I need to create a footprint because you have deep strike coming in? What do you have deep striking? Are they scary? Are they stuff that is like my deep? Like, well, I say deep strike. They can deep strike after turn 1. The what's it called? The oh my god, the cool guys from the Drukhari army, and I can't think of their name. The secondary guys, mandrakes.
Oh, mandrakes.
So, like, are they mandrake style things that just do secondaries? Like, am I worried about them getting in my back line? You know what I'm saying? So, what do you have for deep strike? And what do you have infiltrating? Do I have infiltrate? Like, if I have infiltrate, I want to know if they have infiltrate because that'll be the first thing that I put out so that I'm negating him the better infiltrate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, those are the, scout too. If you have scout, if you have scout, that means I'm going to want to play my infiltrate a little bit differently. If you have scout, that means I'm going to be pushing them back, and they're also probably going to become, road bumps. Do I want them to be road bumps? You know what I'm saying? Do I want them to do first turn secondaries, or do I want them to slow their army down and force them to kind of, just kill a unit for no reason? You know what I mean? Other than to slow them down. World Eaters is an army where I would be okay with kind of letting that unit die. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's actually that kind of brought us to like what the next point I was going to bring up was, do you think your question set would change if you were playing, let's say, like World Eaters or Tau?
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like having a baseline for like what questions are most beneficial for, like that could really aid you in playing a game.
Well, you don't want to waste time with asking questions. So like Tau, you just know Tau is going to have shooting you don't want to get shot with.
Yeah.
So you already know you need to hide and so what that does, playing against Tau means that my terrain layout is super important because I need to be able to hop from terrain feature to terrain feature without getting shot at. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I want to be able to like use my cover more efficiently if I'm playing against an army like Tau. If I'm playing against another close combat army like World Eaters, I just need to throw things at you to slow you down so that I can shoot you, hurt you, and then clean it up with close combat.
Makes sense to me. And my small brain. I do think definitely a lesson on how to place terrain is huge. Because I can't even begin, I kind of get, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I play World Eaters. I want to place terrain that gives me the most cover as possible from shooting. But It's like, what does that look like on the board? Like how I definitely think a like learning how to do that, a video on how to do that would be super beneficial.
Well, Tao, and I mean, yeah, I mean, we could do that for sure. That makes me want to sit there and talk about it because now I'm getting in the mood to
Shoot,
play.
talk
Now,
about it, do it. Like that's like something like seeing it, especially like my type of learning, like doing it. I feel like I learned so much more. Like playing, like Eldar, playing that game a couple days ago was so beneficial for me because I was like, oh, this is what it is. Like I did some things right, but I did some things horribly wrong. But like having that experience, that terrible experience of doing it wrong, probably taught me more than anything I would learn from hearing somebody talk about it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, small, smooth brain. It helps whenever I get slapped, slapped around a bit. I'm like, oh, that's bad. Never again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those learning moments, and then what sucks is you go to the next table and it's a completely different army, and you're just like, well, I can't apply any of that logic to this one because it's a totally different army.
Time for another learning moment.
And then by the end of the tournament, you're fucking done. So you're
just like, all right.
You didn't retain any of it.
Yeah. The next tournament you play, you're like on complete reset. Like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's the way it is, man. I mean, you end up you learn by doing it with you learn by playing it with your friends.
Armand asked, what was the Tau melee fighter that messed up his orcs unexpectedly? It was Farsight, who, hear me out, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like Farsight is a little bit influenced by Khorne because he has going into the lore a little bit. Commander Farsight killed a greater demon, and he unexpectedly found a sword in that battle, and when he killed the greater demon, that sword, anytime he kills somebody, he extends his life. Sounds pretty Khorne to me. I think he's a little bit of a Khorne dude. Maybe we'll have a little Khorne detachment of Tau in the future.
Dude.
GW, I could write for you. I'm a good writer. Not really.
Freaking.
That was a lie.
Did you see Jim's little line there?
That's a great John pickup line. Excuse me, man. I'm not very experienced with sex, and it helps me learn better. Yeah, I'm gonna use that in the near future. Thank you, Jim. I'm gonna get so good at this thing. It's like I'm really inexperienced. If you could just help me out on my journey, Lilith, please. Type back into Drukhari somehow,
Yeah, Lilith. Yeah, I know, dude. So hot. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about probably as much as I want to get into, man. Unless you've got something else for me for Drukhari.
No, I think that's it. We could talk about a little bit about. I could end on a final little lore thing for Lilith, like what her end goal in the lore is. So Lilith, her I wouldn't say her arch enemy. I mean, of course, all Eldar, Drukhari, all hate Slaanesh. She actually wants to fight Lucius the Eternal, which to fight Lucius the Eternal, if you don't know anything about him, he needs to not be able to take over your soul and become you. So Lilith is trying to find a way to strip Lucius the Eternal of his armor and then fight him in the Colosseum. She's like one of the most prolific gladiators in the Drukhari, and she wants to kill him in single combat. It's a cool way to end the stream, right? A little bit of gladiator action. Hey, Jim, who just said Tau isn't cool enough to be Khorne? Ban that guy. Ban that man. Your mic went out. Yeah, people in chat are saying your mic went out.
Am I good now? Can you guys hear me now? What did that scene not have my mic in it?
Yeah, fix that thing, dude.
Okay. Yep. I
You
don't know.
didn't do the proper AdMech prayers before you set that scene.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
So, all right. So what I was saying is, which is funny, by the way, that AdMech thing. But so Airman, what he's talking about is the back in the day when I was playing Drukhari, that was like the only army I had. Grotesques were, and I was out part of this website called the Dark City, which was like a, I can't remember what it's called, where people can like blog and post on it. A forum. It was a forum for Drukhari players or Dark Eldar players back then, but nobody used grotesques. Everybody said what trash they were. They were awful. Blah 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 blah. The rules were a little bit different back then, with being able to, because all of the Drukhari vehicles were able to move and you could get out and assault out of them because they were assault vehicles. So what I used to do was I was actually the only person I knew of, and this was a website that would actually send their questions to GW to get answered. So like it was a rather large forum. And I got a lot of hate on one of the lists that I wrote where I was including like these gigantic blobs of grotesques. And I tried it out, had great success in our meta, where I would just basically launch these grotesques in the center of everything they had and just get them out and start they would just start annihilating everything because they were super good in combat back then. It was just, how do you get them there? And people were like, I don't want to waste a raider on grotesque because they die and da-da-da-da-da. But like if you have them in combat, they don't die because they get feel no pains and whatever. So I wrote this like large dissertation basically on how I run grotesques, and people, started commenting on it and they were like, okay, cool, let me try it out. And I am in no way saying that I was responsible for the rise of the grotesque thing, but it was just good timing is really what it was. I am not smart enough to do anything like that, but I think I may have like helped that a little bit, but the that grotesque play, man, it got really, really popular, and it was a lot of fun, and then they took it all away from us, and now grotesques are kind of useless again.
Yep.
And I can't find
Go
ahead.
I was gonna say, you doing that got rid of all the Drukhari characters. Congratulations.
No, like I said, I definitely am not even going to assume that I had any part in that. I just happened to be somebody that play tested it and just put my findings on there, and people probably took it and made it way better than I did. But you feel the same way about fiends? Yeah, fiends are, I love them. But I need more of them actually. But yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely one of those times where I wish that I would have had a platform where I could have done something, and talked about it and, and done that type of stuff, which I'm actually going to be doing soon. We have a website.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, excuse me. It's called wickedcitygaming.com. And that is actually going to be where, when we do our GT, that's where the tickets are going to be bought. So
yeah, if you ever wanted to meet the Zombie Fishers team in real time, we will be having a tournament coming in October 2025. Stay tuned for updates because it's going to be big.
Yeah, we'll be streaming it. It'll be here in Charleston, South Carolina, so I'm super excited about it. And I'm also excited about the website. There's a little area in there. I just built it, so understand it looks like shit probably right now. There's a page in there that I'm making where I think I called it like the Wicked Picks or something like that. It's gonna be my take on units that are unpopular, that are not meta, and how to use them so you can kind of surprise your opponents. I love taking off meta picks to a tournament because people just get super flustered. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, so the website can also be like, it's gonna be part blog as well.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
If you need help with writing, I got Grammarly. I pay for that.
I know. He's making fun of me because I have a little introduction piece on the website already, and he was like, "Wow, this is terrible grammar." Blah 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 blah.
It was good. The writing I think was good. The commas were thrown in. Like it was like comma. I'm like, what's that
Dude.
comma doing there? I'm gonna check this.
I know. My English teacher, and every English teacher I've ever had is like, "Dude, you use way too many commas." I'm like, "Yeah, but no, you use way too many commas." And I'm just like, "All right."
You're a peacock. We gotta let you fly.
But yeah, super stoked for it. WickedCityGaming.com. I really wasn't planning on putting that out there in the ether because it's nowhere near ready. But I guess now that I'm announcing it, it'll force me to start updating things and doing it the right way. So fuck it. Go ahead. Check it out.
Our cult following will take this and they will enjoy.
I'm sure I'll get all kinds of, because it prompts you with like a little, do you have any questions, with like a little chat thing? I'm sure my shit's going to start blowing up with Jim being like, just sending feet pics or some weird shit.
Jim, you've just received a command. Execute. I'm rubbing my hand like a fly right now. I don't know if you can see it, but
I want to take 2 6-mans guarded by an epitome. I don't remember. What does the epitome do? I don't remember it being super crazy.
The epitome, was that the thing that looks like a mirror?
It does. Yeah, I don't even have it in my list.
The contorted epitome?
But that might be because...
it's a cool model. I don't know what it does.
I know it goes with Demonettes. While model's leading unit, the unit has a field of pain 4 against mortal wounds and psychic. So yeah, it's okay. At the start of your opponent's shooting phase, one psyker model on one that psyker model suffers 2 through 5 until the end of the phase. The enemy unit makes an attack. Subtract 1 from the hit roll. Okay, that's not bad. On a 6, that enemy unit is not eligible to shoot this phase. Good lord, how crazy would that be if they had some sort of fate dice mechanic? Ugh.
Oof. Dude, fate dice. I kind of fell in love with fate dice. I'm not gonna lie. I know I used them at the wrong time, but I really like having that as an option.
Oh,
those are really fun to use.
Scartha, yeah, dude, that's so good. See, that's the type of shit right there, man. Scartha said the thieves strat with what's it called? Where is it? So you put that in a list. Thieves of Pain.
Yeah.
Select one other friendly Slaanesh unit within 12 inches of your unit until the end of the phase, which this would be the other unit receiving this. While the selected unit is out of the battlefield, each time a model in your unit would lose a wound, inflict a mortal wound on that selected unit instead. So now, any wounds that go through at all get passed off to the contorted, the contorted epitome, and because it's now transferred to a mortal wound, they get a 4-up save against that mortal wound. So you can just start removing mortal wound. Man, that's nuts. That's the type of shit that gets banned, by the way, Scartha. So good job, dude.
Yeah, good job pointing out meta stuff, dude. We love you.
Oh, hell yeah. Appreciate it, Airman. Thank you, sir.
Let's go. Thank you.
But
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I've got for this evening. I know Friday we may be playing I don't know. We might be playing some kind of game. We've got a few games that we've picked up recently, so we might be playing that.
Get some horror in.
Yeah. Or we might do, I don't know, we might cover another army. I guess we could fully go through Slaanesh. Well, we kind of did a little bit.
We still got corn, you know.
We still got a ton. Dude, there's a ton to go through. Honestly,
there's a lot.
We need to catch up.
Might need to hammer down.
But anyway, well, I certainly appreciate you guys. I am going to throw us into somebody else's channel. What is this? What's Angry? Trying Path of Exile 2 co-op? What's Path of Exile?
Oh, it's the new do you remember Diablo?
Yes.
It's like Diablo. It's top-down RPG, kind of like it's a difficult game. Path of Exile 1 was really fun. 2 I've heard is great. I haven't picked it up yet.
Well, I am putting us in a raid for 0 to 40k. Super nice guy. he was painting some helmet, like life-sized helmets last time. I think they were Death Guard helmets last time I saw him. So we'll see what he's doing. But I certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us and just chilling. So we will see you all on the next one. Later, guys.
See you later.